Yes.
Number 12.
Let's keep in mind what these two are presenting. At the end of all, we are going to
Summarize.
Yes. Thank you very much. Excuse me.
Vitu vya kutosha tu. Alafu utabonyeza
Nataka kuchukua kamera. Hiyo video inaenda.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Praise the Lord.
We are going to present group number 2.
Yes, and actually we are presenting this group after it has been caught on surprise. You as villagers, you know us, and because of that, you have decided to ask us to teach you natural family planning, but we are not prepared.
We called you.
Yes, they said, okay, Melanie and Pascal, we know that you are the missionaries of peace. And now you are in our village, we are not allowing you to go away until you teach us the natural family planning. But normally we teach using the beads. We don't have the beads. And we have some material that, for instance, there is the user book. We don't have it here. But since you wanted to hear at least something from us, then we try to share with you by using what you have in this village. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. So, to begin with, it has been a challenge to many, for instance, women who want to plan for their family, but also to many men as husbands, they sometimes get to be confused what to do, what to use in order to plan their families. So we found that it's simple the way we used to share with other people. The days, according to the menstruation cycle, to the women, there are only 6 days which are fertile. Their days with fertility are limited, different from men. Why? Men are fertile all the time, but women are limited. They only have 6 days in their cycle. In one cycle, they only have 6 days of fertility. The rest, they are low or no fertility at all. And because of that, if you want to plan for your family, it's better to share with your husband, share with your wife, to at least know these fertile days of a woman which are limited, than the days of men because they are all fertile. You see? So that's why if we are here and we would like to share with you to only find which are the fertile days of women and find our way of now planning, either by abstaining, skipping those days, and skipping by not going for sexual intercourse. That is abstinence. So there are 4 segments in a cycle, of which share.
For us here, we have seen that in leading days,
Siona.
or from our observation, it means that it's showing red color. So we have to find in our local areas that which things which will go into set as a red color. And we have found that in our local areas, as we have seen before, that we have gone without anything which we are going to teach them. So the teaching aid we are going to use there is a piece of cloth which is red in color, so as to present it reading days, a paper which is red, leaves, fruits, beads, and beans. From here, in reading days, for these things, we'll find those things which are red in color.
Someone can ask you, which are these bleeding days? They are the days when the woman experienced some blood coming out of their vagina. So these are the bleeding days. And these days have low fertility. They are about 5 days of low fertility, which are on bleeding days. But after the 5th day, a woman can experience some dryness. Yeah? That the blood no longer comes out. But this some dryness, yeah, there are 2 days of the 6th or the 7th day have low, the fertility starts to increase on those 2 days. And this can be also shown as per observation. A woman can experience some dryness. But if we were to use some colors, we can use, for instance, the gray color to show that, yeah, there are some hope coming of the fertile days. And on fertile days,
It's called that mucus day. And this shows us in observation, we can showing our local people that we can see green color in that.
actually we use green color when we are sharing this to show that this is the season, it's the rainfall season. If you plant, you can get some seeds, so you can harvest something out of that rain season. So because of that, we use green color. Yeah? Because when it rains, you'll find the plantations and all this now they grow. And because of that, during this segment of the phase of the woman, of the menstruation cycle, you can see that they are fertile days. And because of that, they will experience some mucus coming out of their vagina. And this is common to all women. Do you experience the same, women who are here?
Get off of them. Women answer.
Okay, what to say? Yes, what to say is that there is this mucus, the mucus days you will experience, they are about 6 days of the mucus days. You experience, for instance, the first 2-3 days, you can experience some egg white. Yeah? The egg white goes up to 6 days. The egg white, if you use, for instance, the local material, if you break an egg, there is the egg yolk, the red one. You take the white fluid. That is slippery. So the woman will experience some slippery. Yeah? On her genital parts. So that slippery kind of that egg white, yeah, of the egg fluid, is that what we say? The egg white is the mucus that is fertile. Because it is raining.
And in a stick bag, we can use a maize flour mixing with water. And when it's touching, we can see that. Or we can taste that.
So the mucus, this stretches. When it is raining, a man. So if your husband gives you the sperms on the rainfall season, when it stretches this to you, automatically know that there are probability of getting pregnant. And as she has said, there are this stick pump. Stick pump is when now the days, the fertile days are slowing down, because the fertile days goes up to the peak, and these are 6 days. Then the 6 days from the 8th to the 14th, and then from the 15th day they can experience some sticky pump. Which, if you take, for instance, porridge, you know porridge, maize porridge. So if you take the maize porridge and do like this, it doesn't stretch. So that the woman can experience on the 15th, 16th, and the 17th day. And those days can be shown if you want to give the color. Maybe the color of this maize porridge. If at all you want to show by using the colors. But what does this mean? This means that when it rains, the window from heaven are open, it rains. And when it rains like that, it means God is around us. If possible, give the baby. So these are on the new cats. And then on the stick days, then the rainfall is now going out, reduces some drizzling. So the drizzling part of the rainfall is the stick part. And then the window closes. You will get some rain. So the rain and with the stick pump, when it closes, a woman can experience very dry from the 18th to the 21st day. And this dry days, they are low fertile. You want to ask a question? Welcome.
Yes, excuse me, teacher. When we reach the peak of the rainy season, when does the window close? Doctor, the window closes.
Yes.
But it closes after what period of time?
The third day of the heavy rainfall, when the woman experiences those stretching days of the mucus coming from the genital parts, then she will experience now this stick pump that it's no longer even stretches what comes out of the genital parts. And this the third day, automatically this window closes. And as I said, even when it is heavy raining, slowly, when it is coming to stop, there are drizzling. So this drizzling can be kind of this stick pump. You can't be soft with the drizzling. And on the third day, from the 15th, the 16th, and 17th, you find now the window is closing and becomes now dry. And when it is dry, we say the window is closed, it's no longer fertile. And from that day, you can take any color. If these days are dry and the woman is free, for instance, to enjoy marital sex without fearing of getting a baby, you can go and give any color. You can give which color?
Brown color.
Brown color or
Even black.
or gold. Good day. These days, people can enjoy their marital without fear that maybe we didn't want a baby and now we cannot get a baby. And with that, we find on segment 3 and 4 of our big cycle, these are almost, you can say they are all black, you can even say they are all brown because there is no fertility, but you can even take them as gold. And to show you that we went down there because we didn't come with the beads, we have picked some leaves down there. Here they are.
the side is a bit new way.
We picked some leaves to show you what we really mean. Yeah? Then on breathing phase, do you experience like this leaf? Women?
Red. And yellow.
Brownish, reddish.
It is red.
So this is the breathing phase that you experience some blood coming out. Red. And from those days, we said there are 2 days of which you can experience some dryness. These dryness days, they show us now the fertility is increasing. And on the second segment of our bit cycle, you can experience now the heavy rainfall. And on these days, about 6 days, we use the color green to show that if there are heavy rainfall, there are rainfall season, the rainy season, then you can plant and for sure you can harvest, you can get some harvest from these days. This goes up to the peak. The 14th day is what I said, the 14th day here. But there are 3 days of the stick puff. The stick puff, these 3 days here, is when the rain is almost going, starts kind of drizzling. And this drizzling here is a way showing that now it's going to, the window going to close. So here, the window is open. And they are the only limited days of fertility to a woman where they can get a baby. So if they don't want to have a baby, then they can share these days. That's what are we going to do here? Maybe we abstain. Yeah? We just kiss one another. Then and from the 18th to the 21st, and then to the 28th, we have used these leaves here to show you that these days have low fertility. And there are no seasons, dry season. And this dry season can be gold in the car. They are the gold days to just enjoy your little sexual intercourse without having a baby. So this is what we think can share today. But in the next days, we'll show you the beads, the beads method. But with this, do you get it clear to you? We give you some keys here. The red tells us that these are the bleeding days, they are the blood days. It's the red here, and there is low fertility. But the blue, in between here, which we can use gray or yellow in a way, this they are the intermediate fertility. And the green, they are the high fertility days, and the mucus experience. These are the fertile days, this green here. That's what you can see in all these cycles. The green part is just like a quarter. So it's a quarter of the cycle is the fertile days. That's what he's saying. As for women, they are limited fertility. And the black is no fertility. So this is what we think out of this surprise. Because you got us in a surprise. What we can share today. But otherwise, we'll give you our contacts. We'll give you our numbers. So that you either come to our office or invite us again and prepare so that we come with all the material, teaching material, the bits, and you will enjoy. But At least, have you got something from this presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Welcome.
In addition to that, because we have some people who maybe they have never even went to school, they don't know even to check the numbers. So we have, in a group, we have decided to teach them how to plot according to the colors. Every day, every dot there presents the day. Yeah.
The calendar.
Yeah, that one it is the calendar.
So it's easy for a mama to just say, today, again, I'm still experiencing. Then tomorrow, oh, I'm still experiencing some blood coming out. It's easy. You don't need to have a PhD for that. You just put a mark so that it reminds you to know exactly your days. So thank you, sister. That was
A quick question.
yeah.
Thank you very much for the explanation. I'm interested in knowing from the cycle. I've heard you talking of something like a goal. Now, as a man, I need to prepare myself to be energetic. Would you please tell me exactly those golden days? How many are they in the cycle? Gold.
The golden days.
That I should prepare myself.
Yes, you can start from the 18th.
And celebrate.
You can start from the 18th day of the cycle for a woman to the another commencement of menstrual cycle. Which means the 28th, the 29th, it depends on the length of the cycle.
What about the 5th and the 6th? Those immediately after the
The 5th and 6th.
Yes.
Yeah, the 5th and 6th, we say now the fertility increases.
Okay.
Yeah? There is low fertility when on breeding phase. But on the 5th and 6th, fertility starts to increase. There are possibilities still. Because they might experience some mucus on the 5th and 6th. You see? That's why, if there are such possibilities, hey, they are not good. Mind you. They are not good. Yes.
Just a small correction, that would be not 5th and 6th, but 6th and 7th.
6th and 7th. Thank you very much. Because for 6 days, for 5 days, this is the breeding phase. And then the 6th and 7th day, yeah, because we use gray color to show that at least the fertility starts to increase. And there is high fertility now. Thank you. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, the presenters. Maybe thanks for the creativity and also bring us the teaching aids. But for me, I would make maybe a little bit of corrections. When you talk of dryness, maybe that's when you can put brown. Because when you look at the leaves, when they become brown, they are dry. And then with yellow, you see it has some greenish, then yellowish. That's so that the days when there is low fertility, maybe you can change that.
Thank you very much for the correction, but for the additional correction. But what we say, in this village we are not prepared. So we went down there, we found this tree, just black. Because had you prepared us, that you come and teach us.
And then, oh, sorry.
She wants to complete something.
Yes, and then another thing, you have put low fertility, dryness.
Dryness.
Where do you experience when people can enjoy? Is
From
it
the 18th.
from the?
From the 18th. From this black side. Yeah? Okay? They can enjoy because there is low fertility.
After 3 days of
After
Yes,
the
after
3
3
days
days.
of the peak of the mucus.
after 3 drying up.
Yeah. stick it up.
They have 3 leaves there. They have put there.
Is okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. From peak to the 3 days, in the explanation, you are saying some part. You see some part. Sticky or pap, that kind of mucus. Suppose I don't see anything. What happens?
Suppose you don't see anything.
Yes, after peak I'm dry.
Yeah. There are those, sometimes it depends. Yes. What is expected after peak? These days here, you can experience something only if you have that in mind and concentrate. Automatically you experience something. But if you don't concentrate, you may not experience anything. You think that you are dry, but there is something. Because if you are coming with mucus, this egg white, and then it can't just dry like on the 15th, then you don't experience anything. Unless you ignore and you're concentrating on other things. That's one. But two, it doesn't do away that these have low fertility. Fertility is the way the window is going to close up. Okay? So the closing up of these days, there is some fertility still. Get me right? Which means if you even don't experience anything from the mucus, okay? Then the next 3 days, anything can happen. Then on the 3rd day, for sure, the window will be closed.
Okay, that's what
I think let us find maybe better terminology or a better term to use for black. Because when you say low fertility, it means the fertility is there, but
it is low.
It is low.
I can conceive.
You can conceive. Maybe let us use infertile or infertility or infertile to mean total dryness.
Total dryness.
But when you talk of low fertility,
I can conceive, I may not.
after the 3 days.
Then the word low, it shouldn't. It should be infertile.
I think the terminology is okay, and this is kind of relative: low, intermediate, and then high. So
No?
say low, intermediate, and high. So I think the terminology is not wrong.
No.
It is wrong.
Excuse
Let
me.
me tell you one thing, that there is no fertility because the factories, the ovaries are still busy making some eggs. Okay?
Yes.
But only here they are ripe. That's why we say it's still low, because they are not yet ripe. Get me right? Because if you say completely no, so where do we get this?
After the bleeding.
Excuse me.
They alternate.
Excuse me.
On these days, when it is black, okay? They mean brown. Why? Because the issue is low. Why say low? Why don't you say that no fertility at all?
let me ask you.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
This side.
On the black side. Yes. They are saying, instead of saying
Low
low
fertility.
say
Because there is no mucus that can leave the sperm to fertilize.
So, first of all, I commend you for this discussion because you are raising points that are discussed in the big medical circles that try to understand that. Very good points. The point about saying no fertility or low fertility is in the scientific method, we can never say 100% 100% of the time. So even though we say that the chance of pregnancy is extremely, extremely small on day one, it could be once in a 5,000 cycles a woman gets there. So we have a saying, you could never be absolute. And that's why we use the term low fertility and intermediate fertility. So that's why we use that term. Some people want to say, well, we want to say absolutely no fertility or yes fertility. Unfortunately, we can't do that. Now, if you look at artificial contraception, do they have 100% infertility with the pill? No. Do they have 100% infertility with the injection? No. So no one, the only way a woman is 100% infertile is if she has a hysterectomy. Her uterus is out. All right? Do you see my point? So that's why we use that. But I think your point is very well taken, that, a couple might say, oh, low fertility, what does that mean? Yes. Intermediate fertility, what does that mean? All right? So if you want to be more precise, low fertility is there is less than a 5% chance. All right? If it's less than 5% chance, the World Health Organization, WHO, says that's a highly effective means of family planning, right? If you're less than 5%. So I don't know if I added to the confusion or not. So, but for us to be able to say, never will you get pregnant on a certain day, we can't say that. And that's why natural family planning, we say, always is open to life. Right? It's not 100%. And then,
but as to me, that's what I was trying to go with, that the woman has got a cycle. And this cycle is like a plant, okay? This plant, there is time only when you can see fruits to show that this plant is fertile. It can produce some fruits. But it is fertile even before producing fruits. Get me right? That's why I accepted the issue of low, intermediate, high fertility. Because even if I can't be pregnant today, but I'm fertile, get me right?
Yes. Excuse me. When it comes to that couple you're explaining,
yes,
they will always want to know, when are we safe that
to
we
enjoy.
conceive?
Definitely.
That's
You're
when
right.
the message we need to bring to
Yes.
them.
If you say, no, we're talking about the barren. The sterile.
If it's not barren,
If you say no, which means someone is sterile. Sterility. Sterility is the no, the absolute no. Sterile in a way. But for these mamas, that you are fertile, okay? You can get babies, but you can get babies in these days where there is a high fertility, which means when the egg is ripe enough to be fertilized.
Information. I think doctor should give us a clarity. What I'm getting, and maybe what is raising the confusion, do we have a time in the cycle of a woman where it is 100%, no chance of conceiving?
okay. Remember what I said. There's no such thing as 100%. But what we can say, if I can just show you on this diagram. By the way, we should clap for this. This is so what we can say, now this is a woman with regular cycles. We can say, based on our science, the days 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are low fertility. We cannot say 100%, we can say less than 5%, right? Then we can come over to the other cycle and say, starting at day 22, day 22 to the end of the cycle, again, less than 5%, okay? Now, the tricky part is day 6 and day 7. The fertility depends upon the woman's observation. If she is dry, then the probability is probably less than 5%, right? If she has blood, if she has mucus, or if she has either egg white or sticky tacky, then that probability is probably higher, right? That's why we have those gray beads. Then up here, we know days 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 are high fertility, right? So low fertility only comes, as you've shown here, after 3 days of drying up. After those 3 days, then the fertility drops to less than 5%. Now, it's really important to know that this still can have fertility if there's not drying up. Are you with me? That we can only say from days 15 to 21 that there's infertility after there's been 3 days of drying up. Are we together? Another way to say it is, as you have said, if we look at the fertile window. The fertile window is closed days 1 through 5, right? It opens if there is mucus or bleeding on day 6 or day 7. If there's no mucus or bleeding, what day does it open on? Day 8, right? So the window opens on either 6, 7, or 8, depending on whether a woman has mucus or not. But it always opens at 8, all right? And then we know the window stays open through days 14, and it only closes after 3 days of drying up. But we don't know. For one woman, the drying up may not be until later, right? Other women might actually start drying up here. But it's only after 3 days that the fertility gets low. And then once she gets to day 22, the fertility goes low again. Does that make sense?
Yes. But still, Doctor, what I want to really, for the clarity, because like what people here said yesterday, there is a mixing of methods. Like there is what we call the infertile phase.
Yes.
In that case, do we have an infertile phase, or we don't have any infertile phase at any point?
Very good. All right. So what we would say is that there's an infertile phase, which is days 1 through 7, depending, right? There's a fertile phase from if there was mucus, on day 6 or 7, the fertile phase starts there.
Yeah.
There's no mucus, it starts on day 8, and it continues until there is peak plus 3 days of drying up. All right, let me show you a summary in your manual.
Yes, now what we are asking, Doctor.
Oh, sorry.
When you talk of the peak plus the 2 or 3 dry up days, the 3 or 4 dry up days, do we declare that as an infertile phase or a possibility?
No. So the fertile phase goes until there's peak plus 3 days. Right?
So then after the 3,
after that, then it becomes the infertile phase again.
That's what people are making.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, if the greatest percentage, you said it is around 5% low fertility. Why don't we go with the greatest percentage, which is 95, for infertility? Because we can't go with the least percentage, which is 5, to tell people it is low fertility.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you, this is the challenge. Is if we make this so it becomes 99% effective, the problem we'll have is we could say you only have sex on days 1 and 2, and then you could have sex on day 29 and 30. All right? Will that be effective? Yes, because the chances of pregnancy are so low. But will people be happy with that?
No.
No, they have a long period of abstinence. So what we have to do is we have to find a balance where it's still low fertility, but there's still days available for intercourse. Does that make sense?
No. Doctor, for the first phase, I agree there is low fertility. That is when a person is bleeding. Then the 6th and the 7th, I agree.
Okay.
Intermediate. Also, the fertility days, that is the peak. Then we go to the low fertility again, that is the addition of more 3 days.
Yes.
Then I'm saying, if the other days where you experience the dryness, why should we go with the least percentage where we expect at least one woman to get pregnant during that time? Why don't we go with the greatest percentage, whereby you expect most of the women not to become pregnant when they play sex? Why do we go with the least percentage of saying low fertility?
To answer that, we are trying to combine the two methods. With bone, we only speak of fertile and infertile days. So, if there are fertile days, then there are fertile days. The rest are infertile. That's all. But in order to accommodate even that one woman you are saying, who has the possibility, even on those days, to accommodate, that's why it is called low.
Yeah.
This is not a Bible by Jesus.
Are we okay? All right, we will continue our conversation. All right, one more quick point is I like the analogy, the range, okay? So the idea of that when it's raining heavily, that's egg-like mucus. And then the fact that it's still drizzling, the sticky pat mucus. Sometimes rain, it just stops,
Yes.
and you can have dryness,
Yes.
or sometimes it drizzles. So I think that that's a good, helpful comparison. Now, let me just, one more point, and I hope I don't confuse this more. If anybody tells you that in their system, that they said, absolutely, 100% of the time, this is fertile and this is infertile, it's not possible, okay? It's based on probabilities and statistics. It's the only 100% certainty is if a woman doesn't have a uterus, all right? I have seen women who the man has had a vasectomy and so on. Okay, thank you.
So thank you. We are finishing by giving comments on this piece. If you can share, we had 2 points for the bids which we are having, because we have also to give a comment.
For us, we have seen that here, these bids, starting from number 1 here, they are too small, that other people cannot
fit maybe the thread in it, which means if they are bigger, they can be good. The other point was on the pins, that maybe in some places the pins might be expensive or might not be available in the shops. So we suggested they can use the ropes or other strings to fit the observations. You tie it on a rope that this is ready, something like that. So they can use alternative ways instead of using the pins if the pins are not available. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Let's give them another big clap. That proves. Yeah.